Mook, and Mike's 100th episode. Join us while we watch some of our funniest moments.
My brother Frankie. How you doing, pal?
100 podcasts. Isn't that unbelievable?
Right?
Unbelievable. I see we've got banners today, noisemakers. It's like New Year's Eve here. We went all the way out for our 100th podcast.
And we're getting younger looking every day, too, which is quite extraordinary,
Yeah.
right?
Speaking of younger looking, why don't you show me what the hell happened to your head there?
You want to address my ouch?
Your ouch?
My owie?
Did your wife hit you with her right hand?
She's got a good left, Frank. You got to keep it bobbing and weaving, you know?
How could she hit you with... She could come across your body to hit you with the left.
It's the doctors, Frank. I'm on a vendetta against doctors. I go to this guy, Bernard.
Theophrastus?
I don't want to give his last name.
By the way, the myth behind all of this, Mr. Derek Harris.
The myth, Mr. Derek Harris. He stumbles, he tumbles, he walks through walls, he crawls on his belly like a reptile. He's the best, I tell you. Yeah, so Bernard. And he's of the right persuasion, I guess. He's an anteater. He's a helmet. He's not an anteater. He's a helmet. Anyway, I go to Bernard, who's a great, supposed to be dermatologist, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, Frank, I go there every month, and the guy takes that can of free shit and bing, 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 and he's all over my body.
And you got these primarily because of your 9/11 experience, right?
And being Irish, I guess the Irish skin. You know, it's getting burnt when you were a kid. Shit, nobody knew nothing about sunblock back then. And if we did know about it, nobody could afford it. Nobody was using it.
Nobody gave a shit.
Nobody gave a shit. But anyway, this guy comes in, checks me out, and I strip down. The guy goes, the bald spot, you know, the little crown, the whole deal. He doesn't see this. My wife is an RN, and she says to me, I don't like the look of that one. She goes, I haven't checked that out. Well, I go in, and it's a dot, I swear to God, as big as a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. I go in, the guy says to me, oh yeah, that's got to come off. I said, but you didn't say nothing 2 weeks ago. You just did this. You didn't notice it. He goes, well, it's got to come off. So I go in. The guy gives you the needle. Big deal, no big deal. Goes in and cuts it out. Send it out to the lab. He goes, oh, we got to go in again. Goes in again, cuts some more out. Go in again, cut some more out. By the time it gets done, I got good 15, 16 stitches here, and it's really close to my eye. So I got to take my wife.
That should be Pinocchio. Why don't you tell us the derivation of Pinocchio?
We had a guy in the neighborhood. He owned a candy store, right? You know, the papers, egg creams, candy, cigarettes. And he had one eye, so he was an Italian guy, but he called him Pinocchio. That was like, I'm going down to Pinocchio's, one eye.
Was it one eye?
One eye, Pinocchio. Well, Pinocchio, one eye. And I would be Pinocchio. And of course, you were going to replace me last week with the best looking thing that ever hit on stage.
So why don't we look about a clip about our longevity? Derek's got a clip on our longevity.
100 episodes.
How long are you going to live? Let's take a look at that clip, Derek.
What's it going to take?
I don't know, but I hope I see it in my lifetime. And I'm expecting to live 20 more years. So,
well, good luck with that. In that case, I'll tell you what you do.
I don't have.
Run me 20 grand and I'll give you back $1,000 a year.
Pretty funny.
I'm just trying to hedge my bets.
Pretty funny. But what if you die after 3 years? You're going to leave owing me $17.
Hey, better I owe it to you than cheat you out of it. You know what I mean?
That's a new way of cheating me out of it. Oh, you're a beauty.
We had a lot of fun, though. This has been a great ride. We had a lot of fun.
Well, we're still having fun. What are you talking about in the past tense for? You fucking moron. What are you talking about in the past tense for? We had a lot of fun. Of course we're having a lot of fun. Think I would put up with you every week if we didn't have a lot of fun?
Hey, look at the people that I'm getting to meet. I don't know. You knew these people already, but what? 2 Pulitzer Prize winners and 2 baseball stars and astronauts.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a ride, hasn't it?
Maybe we should have my accountant on, Frank. My accountant.
Well, why don't we go back to the first time, how it all started? Derek, you got a couple of promos that we did?
Yeah.
Ace here with Billy O'Connor. We're the hosts of A Mick, a Mook, and a Mike. Well, I have to admit it. I've done it. I've shot all over the world and on the stages of Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Disney. I worked with some of the most beautiful women in the world. Here I am, ending my 40-year show business career, shooting in the basement of my house with an effing idiot. I am so proud.
Well, that was a bit of a buzz. We were having a moment there.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that's an idiot. And you could have said it right out loud. You could have said it.
Yeah.
You're fucking idiot. If he's a fucking idiot.
Well, you know what? That reminds me of something Leslie Visser said. I was lamenting on how what my career has come to. Why don't we check and see what Leslie Visser said about her career when she was on A Mick, a Mook, and a Mike? Hey, there she is, Leslie Visser. Leslie Visser, how are you?
Well, I'm not sure. Is this what my career has come to?
That's what Frank said when he met me.
That's exactly what I said when I met Billy. Is this what my career has come to?
Well, Leslie, I'm Billy O'Connor.
And that's Derek Harris, right?
Yeah, it's Harris today.
Actually, I got to ask you a question right off the bat. My full name is William Patrick Michael O'Connor, and I was born in County Cork, Ireland. And when I read your terrific book, sometimes you have to cross when it says don't walk. One of the pictures in there is you and Art Rooney in Ireland. And my question to you is, do you still know all the lyrics to Four Green Fields?
No, but I love By the Fields of Athenry. Can you sing that?
Oh, that's a great song.
Can you
By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young... Everybody's supposed to join
My
in.
voice is terrible.
Hey, is this where my career has come to?
You can't sing any Irish songs, you're out.
Yeah, but my mom was from County Cork. We're the Rebel City. Did you know that?
That's where I was born, the Rebel City, up Cork.
And that was Leslie Visser.
She was a delightful
where
guest.
our career has come, but Leslie was a terrific guest.
Yeah, she was a really
Hall of
great
Fame,
guest.
Hall of Fame sportscaster.
And we started bantering about Dorothy Parker, and she had all the Dorothy Parker quotes, and the Lady Astor quotes with Churchill. She was a really good guest.
Yeah.
It's easy to see why she was such a groundbreaking journalist on television. I mean, the first woman on NFL, doing the NFL, right?
Yep, for sure.
Terrific.
For sure. She was a terrific guest. So another of our promos, Derek, do you have another of our promos that you can shoot before we were gearing up? We were doing these promos to help build the many, many thousands and thousands of viewers we've established today.
Our diehard fans, the ones that send in the subscriptions.
Yeah, this was one of Bookie of the Year on Billy's.
Billy, you're a former bookie, right? If they play football this year, why don't you give our viewers some football tips?
Oh, yeah. I got a great tip for you handicappers out there. Put your 20s in one pocket and your 50s in the other. This way, you don't get confused when you're paying your bookie. My bookmaking partner, Blinky, was so tired of losing every week, Frank. He called one of those handicap services for $500, right? They're offering their bet of the century. He says to me, they only offer it once a year. I says, bet of the century? Once a year? Doesn't that tell you something?
Yeah, you can't win betting sports.
Exactly.
For more sparkling,
Sparkling.
100 of them coming up.
After 100, you're not sparkling anymore. I don't see you sparkling.
Well,
you
you
got to
get
sparkle.
a little flat, but whatever.
Not
So-
me, Frank. I'm not flat.
So then we did our first episode, and we had probably one of the more memorable moments ever on A Mick, a Mook, and a Mike were with Billy's mispronunciations. So
a little miscommunication.
a little miscommunication coming up.
I just bones, Dick. Exactly, Dick. Like I had the good fun. I had a steakhouse up in upstate New York, and Roger Bear used to come in all the time. He played golf in Bear Park Country Club, and then he'd come over for a steak. Sweetheart of a guy, maybe 5'7",
Look at Frank's face.
5'7.5".
look at Frank's face. He's like,
Roger Bear. So he just played for the Raiders. He's also top 100.
You think I'm going to know who Roger Bear is?
Roger Bear. I can't come on. Not Roger Bear.
Rod Gilbert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I say, Roger Bear?
I don't know what the hell you said. man.
What?
He's a hockey player. He was like a great player for the Rangers.
Can we get captions to put underneath what the hell he's saying?
I think you can punch that shit in at Netflix. You get
Roger, I thought you were saying Roger.
I was surprised when I said Roger Bear. You didn't line up. You didn't say, "Oh yeah, I remember him." You were like, "Who the fuck is Rod the
Number
Bear?"
7
Yeah,
for the Rangers.
Who the hell is Rod the Bear?
Rod, R-O-D.
I don't speak French, no.
G-I-L-B-E.
Do I look like I speak French?
You don't look like you speak English.
Hey, listen, I'm never good. Be nice to me. There's shit you get in trouble for that nowadays. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, I shook hands with the guy, and it was like shit.
Who'd you shake hands with?
Rod the Bear.
Oh,
But it was like shaking a guy's hand with a canned ham, right?
For more sparkling.
That was a funny segment.
Yeah, misunderstanding. Well, we communicate well. It doesn't go good at all.
Yeah.
We're much better off if we screw each other up.
Unfortunately, Rod Gilbert passed away
This year.
this year, and the Rangers wore number 7
You
on
guys
their
killed him.
on the sweaters. On the sweaters
As a tribute to him.
as a tribute to him because he was one of the all-time great Rangers.
Yeah, I think, without a doubt, and one of the top 100 hockey players of all time.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. I mean, maybe top 10.
Absolutely.
Roger Bear. Well, he was a real nice guy, to a sweetheart of a guy. So I'm sorry to see that. I had a picture of him. They took, how tall he is. Like 4 or 5 inches taller. But again, tick. He's tick, Frank.
He's
tick.
tick.
He's tick. Tick.
He's tick. So that was our first episode. Was a little different studio than it is today. So that got us ready to have our first guest in. Billy Van Zandt, terrific screenwriter, brother of
Playwright.
Stephen, playwright.
Steven's brother. Yeah.
He wrote a number of TV shows that I worked on. He was very nice to me, hired me several times. And why don't we try to look at his opening? Because I didn't think you were ever going to let him speak. But why don't we look at the verbose Billy O'Connor?
Oh. Say a few thousand adjectives, Billy.
Billy Van Zandt. Billy Van Zandt, a prolific playwright, producer, author.
Why are you introducing?
This is Billy's new book. I read it twice. Getting to College Jane, Adventures in TV Wasteland. And when I found it,
Can you let him say hello?
I will. I'm going to give him the lead now.
Can you let him say
I'll
hello?
give him the lead now.
I say,
I'm about to let him in now.
holy Jesus!
I'm exhausted already.
All right, look, I'm going to shut up and let Billy talk. But I was going to give him a lead, but no worries. Yeah.
So now I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. Thank you for having me, guys.
What else?
He's exhausted already.
He's exhausted already.
You know what? When I was in journalism school at UF at that late age, the first interview I went on, you tape it. So I taped the interview and I asked the guy a question, then I'd answer his question that I asked him. And I got back, I had about 10 seconds of dialogue from him and about 20 minutes of me.
Yeah. Well, we've been really fortunate. We've had some great guests. We've had Rod Carew. We've had David Scott, astronaut who walked on the moon.
Amazing, right?
We've had Mary McNamara, Pulitzer Prize winner. John Philo, Pulitzer Prize winner, took that famous Kent State photo. We've had Kenny Anderson of the Cincinnati Bengals. We've had
Brett Butler, Artist Gilmore.
Brett Butler, Artist
Jim
Gilmore.
Maloney. What a great
Jim-
interview. I love that interview, Jim Maloney.
What's your favorite part of the Jim Maloney interview?
When he gets down and tells you the truth, like the grease. He says, when I needed it, second and third, one out, I'd go to the hat and get a little grease, Did you ever knock anybody down? I beamed them. I aimed it, I was great. And then the anecdote about Johnny Bench that Maloney said when he went for the grease.
Oh,
And Bench says, I can catch anything that's thrown.
well, why don't we try to roll that spot in right now?
I thought Maloney. Let me ask you a question, Jim, because it's driving me crazy. You talk about Gibson, and you're obviously a highly competitive guy. You can't have 30 shutouts, 3 no-hitters, and 5 one-hitters unless you're pretty damn competitive. But did you ever throw in a guy's head when you were?
Well,
Because you're an affable guy. You know, you don't strike me as
Yeah. No, that was that's not really the right thing to do. As hard as I threw, and when I first started, guys never even wore helmets. You know, I mean, they wore a little leather thing in their hat that went around the edge, and I think helmets came in about like 1964 or 5, somewhere like that. And but I've thrown at guys. I mean, Roy Seaver hit a grand slammer off me in Connie Mack Stadium, and the next year in spring training in Clearwater, Florida, with the Phillies. You know, I was pretty cocky, and in those days, and I said, "Well, I'll just let him know I'm out there," and I hit him in the ribs and broke 2 ribs.
Whoa!
He missed the first 2 months of the season, and then 2 months later, or 2 years later, 1965, who does the Cincinnati Reds hire as the coach? Roy Seaver. So I told him I was sorry.
I'd like to ask the same question of Bob Gibson if he ever threw in somebody's head. I better get a different answer.
That Gibson, you better not look at him. These guys, the way they throw that bat up in the air and they look at the ball, they wouldn't survive. They wouldn't survive. Drysdale, those guys, Bob Veal, they wouldn't. You know, showing the pitcher up like that. You know, it's a whole different game today. It's like the way these guys fraternize and kiss each other while the game's going on and everything. It's like a Sunday beer league to me. Really.
Unbelievable.
We've had a lot of unbelievable moments.
Yeah, so many comics, so many friends of mine. Paul Verzi, Chris Cope, and Danielle.
Danielle Fishel, great guest, and her husband too.
Daniel Fisher, Topanga.
Topanga,
Yeah.
Terrific guest. But you talk about Chris Cope. That brings to mind another memorable moment we've had with Chris Cope. Derek, can you roll that?
So when did you realize you were really funny?
Let me see. I was born March 5th, 1984.
Can you ask the housekeeper to move, please?
It's my girlfriend, you motherfucker. She made me breakfast. No one speak ill of this woman. I love her.
Can you recite her menu? Give us the whole menu. That was great.
That was terrific.
I said you're cleaning lady. Just what you want to hear when your wife's in the background.
Yeah. Was it his wife?
No.
No,
it was his
His
girlfriend.
His
Yeah,
girlfriend,
I said put a ring on it.
Yeah, then you said put a ring on it. He said, Frank, you back it up. I can't hear you anymore. I can't hear you.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was good stuff. And Cope is always funny.
And we had a couple of people that didn't really know who they were talking to.
They knew me.
Yeah, well, one of them, Pepe Castro, knew you. Derek, why don't you roll in Pepe?
Pepe from the Blues Magoos.
Yeah, for that one. I guess.
Yeah, Andy.
I guess that Pepe has been one of those guys that's just found his way to a career. You know, a lot of guys burned out. But Pepe, he went from Blues Magoos to Broadway to jingle writer to Broadway composer. I give you the greatest amount of credit in the world. Oh, thank you, man. No, I got both the chair, the kids, Diana Ross. You know, it's been along the way. And you know, when Billy said, don't quit high school, don't do it. You know, well,
Honesty to me is always the best advice.
go the other way for sure. I have the distinct whatever it is of the distinction of telling people when they say, "Oh, you didn't finish high school?" I said, "No, I didn't go to high school."
You're the best, Pepe. Derek wants to ask you a question.
Well, I got a question. This is a big ask. But since you're a jingle writer, I'm going to put you on the spot. So the name of the show is A Mick, a Mook, and a Mike. Okay?
A pick a book and a part.
So,
okay, a Mick, a Mook, and a Mike.
right. So a Mick for the Irish fellow, a Mook for the Italian fellow, and obviously a Mike for the podcast. So,
you want me to say something?
yeah, could you do us a little jingle?
Or jingle.
I mean, there's a guitar in the background.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if really. Who knows if this thing's even tuned? Yeah, I do have a guitar in the background. Two of the trade, right? And ears. Did we hear that?
Yes.
He's hoping to finish.
A Mook and a Mike. Whoever thought they'd be right for each other. A Mick and a Mook and a Mike.
Obviously, the dead end of his career as well.
I haven't a clue, but let's see. Mick and Mook and a Mike. Come on, come up with another line. Don't know which one I like. Go pop your head off into the night. That's great. Awesome. That's great stuff. Thanks so much.
Boy, another highlight of his career, right? we launched him forward.
Yeah, well, he's not the only one that didn't know who he was talking to, because like he had to put down Frank is Mike today. But let me talk to you about J.T. Harding, a good friend of mine.
That was hilarious.
My friend, my late friend,
Jay Thomas.
Jay Thomas.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of Jay. His son, J.T. Harding, is a very famous songwriter. And he's written a book called The Party Like a Rock Star. And we brought him on the episode one day, and we were surprised by what he said.
Well, especially you. You're one of his fondest, dearest friends.
So, Derek, can you roll?
Like a Rock Star, which was about to be published.
It was released yesterday.
It was. And you may not know my name, but I've written #1 songs for Blake Shelton, Kenny Chesney, Keith Urban. I also wrote a song because you make me smile like the sun, fall out of bed. But here's the twist, everybody. I am the true story. I'm the illegitimate son of the late, great Jay Thomas, and that's how I know Joe. Yes, my birth certificate is an apology from a condom company. It's hanging in my house next to my 3 dozen gold records, and I'm glad to be here. 3 dozen gold! Nice!
By the way, who's Joe?
Joe Kakachi.
Yeah, well, where is Joe? He's not here.
Oh, I got the wrong name? It happens in a coat, pal. It's a small fault in a good man. Don't worry about it. You're doing fine.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Really, you really think this is Joe Kakachi's podcast?
No. Great pace. That's okay, brother. It's all good.
Oh, my Lord.
You gotta sober up your tailor. I tell you the truth. You gotta sober that guy.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, that was funny,
Pretty
Joe.
fucking
Well,
funny.
I'll tell you, Joe.
I'll tell you, Joe. And he was calm that day.
Yeah, he's
He's
me on steroids. He's up.
he is you on steroids for sure.
Yeah, he's up.
But we've had some.
He's got to start breaking the medication in half. He can't be taking it. Every now and then you got to adjust,
Well, I mean, why don't you tell me why don't you tell me a drinking story?
I'll tell you a drinking story. I don't know if I ever told it before, especially on the air, but I tell you the kind of drunk I was. And if I did tell you the beginning of the story, I got to finish it up with a punchline, because I went to a reunion. I hadn't seen guys in like 20 years, right? There was like 6 guys at the reunion, and they were all talking about, somebody had mentioned, what's the most fucked up that you've ever been? Like the most fucked up you've ever been. And I'm listening to the 6 guys tell their stories. And it dawned on me after about the 4th story that I was in every story, right? That they were talking about the most screwed up they've ever been. Well, not only did I not remember the night that they were talking about, it got to the 6 guys, and it was 2 of the guys I didn't remember then. And they were talking about how they remember me for being the most screwed up they've ever been. Yeah, I was bad. When I was drinking, I'd go off on 4 or 5 day benders. Just, of course, you use the other stuff to stay awake.
Yeah. Well, now you're clean and sober, and it's good for us. But you're not totally clean. And
Well, I smoke a little babano once in a while.
yeah,
a
well,
little bit of the devil's lettuce, just to.
let's look at Kenny Anderson. An episode we had Kenny Anderson on, who was the Super Bowl quarterback for the Cincinnati
Great
Bengals,
quarterback.
and you were snowed in in your mountain enclave. And let's see what you're doing while Kenny's talking, and you're supposed to be paying attention.
We don't want to give the connotation that snowed in has anything to do with the snow.
Yeah. So watch Billy in this clip.
And the Vice President Ford was there, after he was out of office, and Otto was there. And so I got to know him very well over the years. And he came up to me and he said, "Ken, we always had a Mexican guard system." And said Otto. And he said, "If you ever, the guard comes in, you just don't like the play, you're going to call one on your own."
Vaping.
Billy, you're fucking I got to explain to the audience. We tell Billy in that kind of scenario that he's always on camera. Because we split screen and we cannot take the other person off the camera. But invariably, Billy forgets, and he's got his wife walking through the scene, his wife talking to him vaping, him scratching his ass.
Could be worse. I could be rolling up a joint or rolling up a bill to do something.
Well,
them days are gone, Frank.
There's something else in that episode. It was pretty long. It was probably 3 to 5 minute segment of that episode where Billy received a text message, and so Ken's talking, and Billy's reading his text on his. First, he sees it go off on the desk, and he's looking at it, and then he picks it up. You can see the phone light up his face. The whole time Ken's talking. So.
Oh well. A few faux pas. Is that faux pas?
Well, another great guest we had. Well, we've had a lot of great.
We've had a lot of great
guests.
Really.
I mean, we've had Dwight Hicks, who's
Dwight Hicks and the Hot Licks.
Dwight Hicks and the Hot Licks, 2 Super Bowl champions. We've had Brett Butler, one of our biggest viewerships. We had maybe 15,000 views on that. 15,000 views on Joe Regabudo.
Oh, yeah, with Joe Rags, yeah. Brett Butler, I thought one of the biggest takeaways I took away from his interview was his advice, which is almost like Plato: know thyself, know who you are, know what kind of hitter you are. And Rod Carew, same thing, right? I mean, he knew what kind of hitter he had to be. Spray hitter, hit the whole fields. Know who you are.
Yeah, well, Rod told me, he said he could have hit 20, 25 home runs a year if he wanted to, but he would only hit 280 if he tried to hit home runs. So in his third year, he decided to use the whole field. He said that's why God gave me the whole field. Use the whole field, and he hit 315 years in a row.
He used it too. But Brett Butler, I thought was an instructional interview. I think anybody playing Little League ball or anybody who's trying to get a kid interested in baseball should watch that Brett Butler interview, and not because of us, by any stretch of the imagination. But Butler really gave a clinic about how to be a hitter. I thought it was really, really well done.
And I'd like to go ahead. Sorry.
And Doug Flynn also.
Yeah,
Doug the Glue. He gave a clinic on how to be a fielder and how to be a great teammate. And he was a great teammate of Johnny Bench, and they're very close friends to this day.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say about this is that episode with Rod Carew was the closest we've seen Frank get to crying. I don't know if you remember that. He almost cried at the end of that episode. Do you remember that, Billy?
Yeah, I don't remember it, so just tell me why.
Because Rod was talking to you about how much you meant to him.
Well, why don't we run that clip?
Let's do it. Rod, what is it like knowing Frank Pace for 40 years? 40 years.
To be honest, he's been my brother, my cousin, everything that you can think of. He's, I can call on him whatever time, whatever situation, and I know he's going to be there for me. And, I love this guy. We've had a great relationship, and we're going to continue that relationship until one of us leaves this earth.
I love you too, brother.
That's a hell of a
Be
tribute.
well.
Hell of a tribute to you both.
Yeah, love you, pal.
Okay, love you too.
Don't make him cry, Rod.
Thanks. Okay, I told you I'm sensitive. I told you I'm sensitive. That was really nice of Rod, and it was nice of you to to remember that clip there too. So if you never say anything nice to you,
And I thought you see Frank cry all the time. I don't know.
he's still waiting. Thank you for that. You know what? We another great guest we had, who started off the show with a bang, and I always like to start off the show with a bang, was my good friend James Lejour, who is playing Dr. J in Showtime series
About the Lakers dynasty.
about the Lakers, but he's been in a lot of shows before. So let's show the clip of when James Lejour was in studio with us. By the way, do you remember who were the first in studio guests we had?
Yes, it was Stephen, right? Stephen Lang, right?
You're unbelievable, Billy Van Zandt.
Oh. Oh yeah, him too. He was our first guest at in studio. That's correct.
We only talked to him about it like.
Ask him again in 5 minutes.
Huh?
Come on.
Who was our second guest?
Oh, we just mentioned that. Alex.
Woo!
Hey, Billy, we know you got it.
You got it. So why don't we bring on James Lejour? Bring on a clip of James Lejour. Speaking of good company, we got great company today. James Lejour.
James Lejour.
Come on, Frankie. How do you know me as? Come on, man.
Jimmy Lejour.
Jimmy Lee. Oh, that feels good. That feels good.
You notice the guys from the East Coast, they always put a Y at the end. No matter what it is.
Jimmy Lejour.
Joey, Frankie, Johnny.
A terrific actor.
Bless your heart.
Just a great actor.
Well, he's got some resume, I can tell you that. The guy's done a lot of work. Either he's a good actor or somebody doesn't know what a lot of people don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I can act like a good actor, man. That's what it is.
So, James, I want to ask you first thing, what'd you drive here today?
At least a Highlander, Toyota Highlander. It's still the same guy. You know what I mean? Just modest.
I know that you're the same guy because you were so frugal when we were doing For Your Love that you drove. I think Derek, you got a picture of it, right?
No.
You drove a low red. And you drove it for year one, year two, and year three.
Come on, man.
We need a couple of milk crates underneath that, to work it out.
That wasn't far off, man. That was amazing. But I did have a tire issue the first year of For Your Love. That's funny.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Very nice guy.
Pretty funny, wasn't it?
Yeah. And you worked with him For Your Love 4 years. You worked with him the whole time.
4 years, but I've been a big fan of his career ever since. And, like I said, a lot of this business, key to this business is just keeping in touch with people you love and like. And I love and like James Lejour a lot.
I always, after every episode we have, you always call up whoever was our guest and thank him for being on. And you always cross your T's and dot your I's. That's got to be a big part of show business. And luck.
Yeah, luck. Boy, anybody who says they're successful and doesn't say they're lucky is full of shit.
Luck and diversity. That's what I've taken.
Luck and diversity, and you can read it all in our book, If These Lips Could Talk. Available on Amazon and any place on our website at Mick and Mook and Mike, along with Lamar's Gamble and Combustible. 3 books that Billy wrote that I'm all very, very proud of. All three.
Well, good stuff, Frank. We've had a lot of fun over the years, that's for sure.
Yep.
And hopefully a lot more to come.
Yep. We've had great directors. Howard Storm, Don Scardino, Joel Zwick, Shelley Jensen. Shelley made a memorable debut.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
on our show. Why don't you, Derek?
And cool as a cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber.
The whole thing, yeah.
Why don't we watch it, Derek?
Let's bring on Shelley Jensen, Emmy Award-winning director, directed Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Friends, and all. He's everything I said at the beginning of the show. He's a terrific director. How are you, my friend?
I am good, sir, and you? How's everybody?
Good. There's my partner, Billy O'Connor, my other partner, Derek Harris.
Real pleasure to meet you, man. Really a pleasure.
Hello.
Hello. Paint or not?
Paint.
So I gotta tell the people about the paint.
Why don't you tell the people about the paint, Shelley?
Well, as we started the interview, they said, "Can you move the camera a little bit?" I said, "Well, yeah." So I moved my iPad, my iMac. Yeah.
Can you just change your IMAX so it's not shooting, so you're not backlit?
Well,
Like just tilt it a little bit, one way or the other.
I don't think tilting it's going to do it any good.
No, I mean, move it to the right or move it to the left.
Well, I'll try that.
Oh, you're so opulent. You've got fucking 360-degree backlit.
Oh, shit. Holy shit. You will not believe what happened.
What?
You are not going to believe it. Oh, fuck. Holy shit, a whole fucking can of paint just spilled.
Oh, man.
Holy shit.
Can of paint.
I don't even want to.
I had the fucking thing on a can of paint.
Oh, shit.
I knocked it all the fuck over. I love it. That's if I don't electrocute myself.
Okay.
It'll be fine. I hope you like the blown out background.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus. Well, no, that doesn't work at all. It was on 4 cans of paint in my master bedroom. And dumped all over my master bedroom.
So Derek's got a picture of that. We'll put it up. He doesn't have a picture of that, but he'll have a picture of it in post.
Yeah, I wanted to paint the room anyway, so it's fine.
That's pretty funny.
Cool as a cucumber. Like, you know,
Cool as-
there's no way I would have did that interview if that happened to me. I would have said, I got a problem. I got to, you know.
I would have told us to fuck off.
I
said, I don't care. I don't give a shit about your podcast. I gotta go. I got paint on the floor.
I got paint all over my master bedroom. If I had a master bedroom.
So we've had a lot of people. A memorable person was the LA Times columnist T.J. Simers, who I thought was going to give us some dirt on a very famous athlete who since departed. But can you show us that clip, Derek?
Kobe.
Tell me your take on Kobe.
Well, Kobe is Kobe and Junior Seau and Jeff Kent and John Wooden are probably the biggest guys in my life in some respects. With Kobe, I used to challenge him relentlessly, and he loved it. For the first several years of his career, I was closer to him probably than any media member. But then things turned because you had to be in his club. You had to only say nice things about Kobe. And that's furthest from what I was going to do. So I'm trying to think of the one summer, Palenka, who was his agent, said, Kobe's not going to talk this summer. What do you mean Kobe's not going to talk this summer? I talked to him all during the year. You don't all of a sudden say, I'm not going to talk. And so he said, well, I'll go check with him. Comes back, he said, no, he's not going to talk. I said, then you go tell him F you. So when the season started, I turned my back on him every time he gave an interview. Real mature. So he would be in his locker talking to everybody, and I would turn my back. At the end of that year, he was going to go play in the Olympics. So they had Olympic practice in Las Vegas. So now I haven't talked to the guy in over a year. So I went to the practice, stood right in front of him. And I had sent him pacifiers because he had been a big baby. And said he wanted out of the Lakers because Russ wasn't paying him enough money.
He wanted to go to Dallas Clippers.
Yeah. And so there's all the national media there, and then it's Kobe and me. And we go at it. And he's telling them how I sent him pacifiers and, you know, and he was a master still going after you, but not losing his temper. So we finish up the interview, good-naturedly, and everybody leaves, but I follow him. Because I know he's got to take the Olympic drug test. And he's lost 17 pounds. And he's told the media in this big confab that he's just trying to get in better shape as he nears those of the end of his career. He was off the juice. He had to have the Olympic drug test, which is one of the toughest drug tests, and he was worried that he was going to fail the drug test. So I said to him,
So you're saying he was on the juice?
That's what I told him. I said, you're taking HGH. You know, great recovery drug, which everybody, not everybody, but a good portion of the NBA subscribes to. Mark Cuban wants it to make it legal. Kobe wouldn't admit it, the hell are you talking about, and I confronted him on it. And from that point on, we got along great. Because I think Kobe understood if you're going to go head to head with somebody, you respect them. If you're going to be a weasel and try and cut the corners or whatever. So we had wonderful run-ins where his back might be turned and I would say something to him and he'd turn around and see who was asking the question. He'd see it was me and then he'd start smiling and it was okay.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's the kind of insight you're not going to get from many
We're not going to
people.
get insight, and we're not going to get any stimulate any controversy either, because that got a little bit of notice. But I guess everybody's giving Kobe a pass because of the unfortunate nature of his demise.
Of course, and his family and everything else. You
Yeah.
don't want to really dig up dirt on the dead. Let
Yep.
sleeping dogs lie, or
Yep.
sleeping bodies in this case, sleeping greats in this
Yep.
case.
Sleeping greats. And then we've had Charlie Steiner on. We've had Laurel and Wendy Prieb on. We've had Fred Clare, the general manager of the Dodgers, who told a great story about Jackie Robinson. And we've been blessed to have some pretty swell people. Pretty swell people.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, just and Tony O. Don't forget Tony O.
Tony O's the best.
The stories about Sinatra. I mean, 40, 50 years with Sinatra. How long?
Well, I don't think he was 40, 50 years. I think he was 20, 25 years. But he was with Sinatra when he died, when he passed away.
25 years with Sinatra.
And he tells a story about how he got the pinky ring that Frank gave him right before he passed away. And it's Tony O is a great fellow. A great friend.
A terrific
and
entertainer.
He's been one of the few people that have been on the show twice.
And a great raconteur. I mean, he tells stories about humanizing Sinatra, about the way he was when he'd go into a small town and just pick out a needy person and say, deliver the money,
Duke him.
Yeah, duke him.
When a Duke meant
When
something.
Right thing. Yeah, that's right. Duke him.
A Duke with 100.
Yeah, a terrific, a lot of integrity to with Tony O. Just a class act.
He's a Dago.
He's a Dago, yeah, but
he's an old school Dago. He finished with the mandolin.
He finished with the mandolin, and a musician of his own right, a really good musician.
Yeah, who gave up his career to go road manage Frank Sinatra, and then he ultimately was Don Rickles' road manager also, and that's when I first got to know him, when he managed Don Rickles. Hey, Derek, why don't you show that clip of Tony O with Sinatra and Don Rickles at Daddy Dearest? Could you do that?
Okay, Frank, we're finished. This is Mr. Sinatra. You might have seen him.
Hi, I'm Howard Stone. Saw you last night. You were wonderful.
Richard Lewis? Where's Richard?
Richard? I'm rehearsing my line.
You wore a tie for this bit? No, it has nothing to do with you, Frank. This is you're not even in this. You're just going to stand on the side.
Shit.
I'm just going to throw the camera on you and hope to God that people remember who you are. Okay, Howard, tell him what you told me you were going to tell him.
Change for another shot.
No, Frank, you look perfect. You can wait, stay in your underwear. We don't care.
Well, okay, you're right here.
Yeah.
You do your line to the tuba, walk into the shot, it becomes a 3-shot. You get a single of you do your line, and then turn and just walk out. Okay? We have a cue card here.
Let's through a little bit.
Yeah, let's walk it. Okay, here we go. This is rehearsal.
Stay away from my wife.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Rehearsal. Stand by. Can you see these two?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And background.
Hey, now that's an attractive woman.
No, not again.
It can't hurt to talk to her.
Hey, meathead.
You better stay away from my wife. Jesus Christ, you're great.
That's what we have to do. And if you'll just turn the next right here. Okay, after taking my life. Okay, here we go.
By the way, notice he's chewing gum.
Jesus, what you do for your friends. All this hard work all the time.
We all set? Stand by and background.
Hey, now that's an attractive woman.
No, not again.
It can't hurt to talk to her.
Hey, meathead, stay away from my wife.
And see you tomorrow. Good for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank.
We got it.
Listen,
Thanks, Frank.
I'm not mine. Call me. I'll be back.
Take one picture.
No.
Tom,
No, we can't take it.
Richard, where are you?
He has got a bullet head.
Get in the middle. Get in the middle, Frank. Take a
Right there.
You know, I would have put my jacket on.
No, you look great.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right. Why not let us see my jacket?
This will go in Atlanta at the prison.
Hang on one second. Let's do the background.
You're making a movie, huh?
Background, please, clear.
It's a movie she's making.
How many are you going to use?
I am ready.
Well, you know.
I say shoot.
Shoot.
I got it.
Thank you.
Quiet. Thank you.
Once again, Mr. Sinatra.
Romeo will sneak into the shop shortly.
You're good. We'll be looking at it when you come in.
Down to the
with
beach? You going to the beach?
Okay, boss.
You going to the beach now?
I'm going to the beach now, yeah.
Great. Enjoy. Give
I'm on the beach, yeah.
I love it.
This way. Take care. I could play one of the machines, man.
Thanks a lot. Yep.
That was me.
Yep. So that was our.
That's a great clip.
So, you know.
I think it's a 4-minute clip. In and out.
And save the slap for the take.
It's to save the
Save,
slap.
save the slap for the take, yeah. You know, Frank, I'd probably give up my career to spend 40 years, 20 years with Sinatra too.
And Rick
I know
was,
it's hard
was
to believe.
hilarious.
Oh yeah, but what a break! I mean, not a break, but certainly an honor for you to work with Sinatra.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
just say,
you know,
that's a hell of a credit.
Again, I owe it all to Steve Papazian, who was the former president of Warner Brothers, who gave me my break in my career, and I'm eternally grateful for Steve, Michael Elias, everybody who was, involved in the early years of my career. Steve, of course, has been involved throughout my career, but
I mean, how Warner Brothers started out
in the mailroom 50 years later.
Incredible
was the president
Horatio Alger story.
Horatio Alger, indeed. We've been fortunate. We've had Susan Egan on. We've had Faith Ford on. We've had Hillary B. Smith on.
Joey Ragabudo.
Grant Shad, the old Murphy gang. 30 years I spent with those guys. Really, really terrific. Before we go, we had a fellow by the name of Bob Bergen on. The mere mention of his name brings Billy a smile to his eyes. So a smile to his face. So Derek, can you roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you roll Bob Bergen?
It's been a pleasure being on Mick, and I've had a great time with him. What's you guys' time? That's
all. Terrific. I'd never be able to turn that off. That's just cracks me
Bob Bergen, the voice of Porky Pig.
Could you imagine sitting in a bar and somebody coming up to you and just started talking to you like that? I mean, you know it's the voice.
Why don't you try it, Billy?
Who, me? Oh, I'd love to be able to do that. That's so perfect. And he wasn't the original voice of Porky Pig, right?
No, the original Porky Pig was Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc, right. And he did it all.
If he was the original Porky Pig, he would be fucking 110 years old. What goes through?
What's up, Doc?
What goes through your mind?
Doc?
What goes through your mind?
Well, I'm just doing it for our audience. Of course, I knew that.
Who was our first guest in studio?
Billy Van Zandt. Stephen Van Zandt's little brother or older brother?
Right. Little brother.
Little brother?
Yeah.
Younger brother?
Who was our second guest?
Alex. Boyman? Boyman. Boylan.
You are incredible.
Thank you. I resemble that remark. Thank you.
I look forward to the next 100 podcasts, he says, tongue in cheek.
Next 100 years, even more tongue in cheek.
Well, I'll be here.
Yeah,
well, I won't be here 100 years.
That's big of you to say.
100 years, all new people, folks. Hang around. But Derek says these podcasts will live in infinity.
Uh-huh.
That is true.
So put them in a time capsule and just
I
maybe
think
somebody
they're in
will
a
watch
time-
them 20 years.
Well,
They're already in a time capsule.
They're in a time capsule up in the cloud. What the fuck is the cloud?
I don't know what the cloud is. I just know that everything's up there.
It ain't up there. The
Where-
cloud ain't up there.
Where is it?
It's down.
Is it really?
It's in hell?
Pretty much.
Aha.
Controlled by the devil.
For sure. Well, before
God is good. The devil ain't a bad guy. either.
before we get off on Derek's tangents, it's been a great 2 years. It's actually not been 2 years. It's been 100 episodes. We still have got 4 more to go before we get the 100th episode, 2 years anniversary. But it's been great. We've got 3 books out. I'm going to cry again.
I was going to
I'm
say.
going to cry again, Derek.
I would love for you to say something sweet to Billy.
Say something sweet to me.
Yeah.
Fructose.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for a
Thanks
100th
for looking at it
podcast.
for
I hope
100th
you
podcast.
had
That's
as
right.
much fun looking at it as we had doing it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of laughs.
And
Thanks.
and really, I mean this with all my heart. Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, thank you, Derek. Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you guys. It's been awesome.
Next week's guest, an Emmy Award-winning actress of Head of the Class, Christine Hodge.
We'll see you next week.